All right, how's lunch, everybody? Did everyone get some good food? Yay. Look how quickly you guys quieted down. Woo. All right, captivating your attention. I like this. We are gonna start our lunchtime lightning talks now, so feel free to continue eating and snacking and talking quietly while they talk. But it's meant to be just a fast-paced, energizing session to give you that kind of introduction, a little bit of a teaser into the growing ecosystem of tools, resources, and collaborations offered through Coleridge. You'll hear a few short, focused presentations highlighting everything from training and capacity building to multi-state data partnerships and shared infrastructure like the Multistate Data Collaborative, or MSDC, with NASWA. So this is kind of a session sampler, if you will. That's what I was kind of pitching this as. It's your way to spark ideas, make some connections, also help you see where your state or organization might engage based on your goals, also as well as your readiness. So we encourage you to actively listen, jot down questions, and keep the conversation going throughout the conference. So with that, let's dive in. I'd like to introduce Didem, the VP of Research here at Coleridge.
Thank you, Allison. Welcome, everyone. As Allison said, my name is Didem Tuzemen. I'm Vice President of Research at Coleridge. It's wonderful to see a lot of familiar faces, but also a lot of new ones, and also we have people participating virtually. So if you allow me, I want to start with a quick recap of Coleridge. So let's see if I can do this. There. All right, we are an organization with a very powerful mission, data for impact. We are building the nation's data infrastructure, working with government agencies to ensure that administrative data is used for effective policymaking. At the core of our mission is to build capacity, and for that we have three pillars. The first one is infrastructure, the second one is learning, and the third is collaboration. So starting with infrastructure, for good infrastructure, you need the right technology. And that is the Administrative Data Research Facility, or the ADRF, for us. We are operating ADRF, which is a FedRAMP authorized secure research platform, which allows us to host administrative data securely and allows us to provide a user-friendly research environment to users of the administrative data. But technology alone is not enough. We need to build the skills so that people can use this technology effectively. And that brings me to the applied data analytics trainings, where we are promoting hands-on usage of administrative data to enhance data literacy and the technical skills of everyone who's willing to work with administrative data. And then the third pillar is collaboration. First, data collaboratives. We support bringing together states and agencies together so they can jointly work on data products so that they can work on problems that are about real-life policy questions and bring together solutions. And then the last one is data linkages. We have many projects where we are linking different administrative data sets so that agencies can have more comprehensive view of the local or state economic conditions. So these are just a few things about Coleridge I wanted to mention. We have a full program for you. There are a lot of breakout rooms so you can go and join the discussions. But I just want to highlight a few that are in line with the three pillars that I just mentioned. So if you want to learn about the ADRF, there are actually two sessions today. One is at 1 p.m., it's introduction to the ADRF. And then at 2 p.m. to 10 p.m., we have the ADRF user community, which is very important for us, bringing ADRF from platform to community. So please come join us. If you'd like to listen to our projects on data linkages and cross-agency collaborations, we have Innovating Data Capacity lessons from our Democratizing Our Data Challenge program. That is tomorrow. Similarly, we have Code to Dashboard breakout session that's going to talk about the projects that we have been doing with state partners, using administrative data, taking things from data to insights for the practitioners. And then I'm throwing in a bonus one, which is about modernizing code and data infrastructures. That's going to happen again tomorrow. You can come and listen to how we're modernizing federal data, working with our partners. So with that, I'm going to give it to my colleague, Teresa, to continue. There you go.
Hello, everyone. I hope everyone's enjoying their lunch. I am Teresa Sears. I'm the Senior Training Director with Coleridge. Before talking about data analytics training, I'm going to tell a real quick story about building capacity. So bear with me here with the story. Early in my career, I worked on a training team that was responsible for rolling out enterprise telephony software. And you're familiar with this kind of software whenever you hear a prompt like press 1 for your account balance, press 2 to speak to a representative. That's telephony software. So this new software that I was rolling out was designed to make managing call routing easier. It was faster. It was supposed to bring some of the changes that might be needed to call routing closer to the front line. So our job was to train customer staff on how to use this software. Now, by all the usual measures that you typically think of with a training course, the training was a success. Participants rated it highly. They demonstrated their capability by completing activities in the classroom. They proved their competency with the software. On the post-course evaluations, when they were asked about their experience, they all gave us really, really high ratings. They especially, even liked the afternoon snacks. This was something that, for a number of reasons, kept coming up. And what we discovered was at this particular training facility, in the afternoon, they served these really warm chocolate chip cookies. And participants, and the training staff too, we all loved these chocolate chip cookies. So no matter, it seemed like, that always came up on the evaluation. So everything about this training experience came back positive. We expected, when we checked in with the customer a few months later, that we would see broad software adoption of this new product. And you probably know where I'm going with this. We did not. We did not see the adoption. Because it turned out that even though the participants knew how to use the software, they actually weren't allowed to make the type of changes that they had been trained to do. There was a whole bureaucratic process around implementing the change. It had to go through IT. There was, different levels of approval that was needed. So, as you might expect, what ended up happening is folks just kept doing it the way they had been doing it. So people liked the training, right? They liked the software. They loved those cookies. But they didn't adopt the tool because we had built individual capability, but we didn't address capacity. So whenever I hear this particular challenge come up, and it comes up a lot in the training space, I always think to myself, oh, they have a chocolate chip cookie problem. Now you might be wondering, has she just not had lunch, or does this actually have something to do with Coleridge Applied Data Analytics training? Well, if you've ever been to a training, or if you've sent any staff to a training, and maybe you learned something that you felt was genuinely valuable, something applicable to your work, but for any number of reasons you got back to the office and you could not apply it. Maybe it was a workflow thing. Maybe it was resources. We heard a lot about that this morning. Maybe it was that there wasn't sufficient cross-functional stakeholder buy-in around applying it. If any of these things have happened to you, then you're likely already familiar with this chocolate chip cookie problem. we build the skills, but without considering and changing any needed workflows and any additional resources or any kind of even shared expectations, we haven't really built the capacity for the work. The applied data analytics training, here's where I'm making that connection, it's designed to help solve that problem. Sure, it's not going to do it in a vacuum, but the way we have structured the class, the course, is to really help with an eye towards the capacity building. So our courses are built on a process that centers answering policy questions with administrative data. Participants work with real administrative data, answering real policy questions. And I think that there's a couple of things that are really notable about this that makes it a little bit different from typical professional development experiences. One is that participants work in a team to answer the research questions, come up with the research questions. And these teams are not only cross-functional, but sometimes cross-agency, sometimes cross-jurisdictional. And it's made up of people coming at the research question from different angles. So you might have, usually have a couple of analysts, you might have some program people, you might have some executive stakeholders, and they're all working together in much the same way or in a much similar way as they would want to do that on the job. So the people who are running the data, who are interpreting it, and the people who are acting on it are all working together during this class to build that shared understanding together. The other piece that I'll mention in addition to the working in the teams is the use of coaches. And we'll be talking about that and some other components of the training course tomorrow during the session Building Capacity Through Real Projects with Coleridge Training tomorrow at 10:20. I don't think there will be warm chocolate chip cookies, but we will talk a little bit about the chocolate chip cookie problem. So thank you.
Well, I just want to say I don't think chocolate chip cookies could ever be the problem. So I'm just going to object right away. Thank you. I can't believe how much attention people are paying, even though they're still like eating their lunches. This is fantastic. I wondered about this panel. It was like, are we really going to have anyone's attention? So I'm Cynthia Forland. I'm a contractor with NASWA supporting the Multistate Data Collaborative. It's set up there. I was a principal consultant. I'm one of many contractors and consultants working on this who all are very skilled and have great experience. So I'm happy to represent that today. So what is the Multistate Data Collaborative? So it's a group of states who came together starting way back in 2018 with the Midwest Collaborative, saying, you know what, there are a lot of things we need to figure out, and we need help doing that. We need a technology platform, ADRF. We need training classes. And we need help with convening ourselves. We need help with putting together working groups to talk about items that are of common interest to us. Whether we're actually sharing data across state lines or not, we really want to be able to have those conversations with our colleagues. We want to retain ownership of our data. As you know, through any of the exposure you might have had to the ADRF and further sessions today and tomorrow, you retain your data. In terms of the scope, we want to look at things that matter to us as states, and that might change from year to year. So we want you to meet us where you are, and that's where we really take that seriously, to come to a state, figure out where they're at, what their questions are, what their problems are, and how can we help support them in moving that agenda forward. Because ultimately, this is about better using administrative data to improve programs and services and ultimately lives, right? That's why we're here. So I do want to plug a couple sessions. I do not have them on a fancy slide, so that is my shortcoming. This afternoon, you are going to be hearing from my colleague Erin Joyce during the Scaling Evidence Across Borders, Trust Governance and Data Infrastructure. And with Erin, you get a bonus that she's also with the Ohio State University and the State Longitudinal Data System. So you get multiple levels of expertise there. Let's see, tomorrow afternoon, from 2:50 to 3:50, you're going to hear from Scott Sanders, President and CEO of NASWA, on a panel from Evidence to Action, State and National Policy Roundtable on Bridging Data and Practice, which is going to include a look toward the future. So if you want to understand what the future looks like in this realm, make sure you tune in tomorrow afternoon. Erin and I both will be helping facilitate the unconference sessions. And for those of you who are from states, we look forward to seeing you on Friday morning. We're going to be having some dedicated time for states and research partners. So if in fact you don't know about that or you're wondering what that is and that's not on your radar, please do come and find me and let me know, and we'll make sure we get you involved on Friday. But thank you so much. Thank you so much for Coleridge for taking on this event. It's for the sixth year at a time. It's a great opportunity for folks to be able to get together in a room and to really understand common issues and questions. So enjoy what's left of your lunch or your dessert.
Okay. Oh, I shut my notes down. Well, thank you everybody for your quick insights and that rapid fire information. Hopefully it puts some sessions on your radar that maybe you weren't thinking about before, but make sure that you do look for that. Also, I do want to mention on the app, we have a little filter on our agenda where if you're curious about some of the sessions that are really highlighting the work that also the MSDC is doing, you can go to the Multistate Data Collaborative, filter or tag and filter, and you can see a bunch of the different sessions in addition to the ones that Cynthia just mentioned. So make sure to check those out. We are going to be moving into our breakouts for the afternoon, starting at 1 o'clock. That's in 5 minutes. So feel free to finish your lunches, chit-chat some more, but then start making your way into your breakout sessions. We'll get started in those at 1 o'clock. Thanks so much.